all rooms, and they looked at it, and in just one room alone they found 4 automatic weapons. The businessmen say they want to point out the blacks are of course welcome to the beach, but they say they do not want Greek Fest to come back here. They say they financially cannot afford it, and they're going to be meeting with the city to try to stop that from happening, the same problems from happening again next year, although they do not at this point have any concrete plans of what they plan to do. Many businessmen did, however, say that if Greek Fest comes back next year, they're going to lock up their doors.
That's just what I was going to ask you, Patty. You answered that for us. Thank you very much. Patti Snell reporting live in Virginia Beach. Ed?
The devastation along the resort strip is expected to reach into the millions of dollars. News 3's Jan Callaghan reports on both the merchants who are counting their blessings today and those who are counting their losses.
This was today's lunch trade at Milton's Pizza on Atlantic Avenue, the fallout of a violent Labor Day weekend. The restaurant had stayed open, armed and ready, but they closed early, and that meant money lost.
I lost about $5,000 in revenues. It's not profits, but it's revenues.
But Kodorides considers himself lucky. He lost money, but others may have lost everything. At Alibaba's, there's little left of the antique showcases filled with fine jewelry. Owner Terry Wright says about half of his inventory is gone. Now's the time to piece things back together.
We're going to look at all options, whether or not we want to stay on the strip, which is really doubtful as far as, at this point, my feelings are that that would be hard to do.
Carolyn Strickland's gift shop, Camilla, suffered an estimated loss of $90,000. Only a third of that will be covered by insurance. Nonetheless, she plans to carry on.
But I think that I'm in an okay space, at least to proceed. So that's, you know, I expect to open up my shop and somehow make do.
And shop owner Jeff Willett figures he's out about $40,000 in lost merchandise and property damage. The future of his 2 shops is undecided.
Silverstream, I'm going to close for the year. I can't afford to open that up. This store, I've got some leftover showcases from a store from a couple years ago. I'm going to put them in and try to get it back open in a couple days with what's left over. Start again.
Over 100 businesses were damaged in this weekend's violence. Only time will really tell just how many will want or be able to continue now that the party is over. In Virginia Beach, Jan Callaghan, News 3.
Norfolk State University held a rally this afternoon where the blame for the weekend violence was placed on police, resort city leaders, and the media.
Yes, somebody is lying.
The students were told the situation was a powder keg before it even began, that police and National Guard were there waiting for them, expecting trouble. But when the looting began, they weren't there to stop it.
All of a sudden in the world's largest resort city, with all the multi-million-dollar businesses along the ocean front, all of a sudden all the police said, whoop, and disappeared.
The students and the leaders also blame the media for failing to report the student side of what happened, of siding with authorities and the city. Well, NSU students were anxious to get their point across today. At the other end of the spectrum was another group anxious to do the same, but for a different reason.
Well, as a matter of fact, News 3 reporter Nate Custer says tonight the segment of the community he heard from today feels overlooked in all the turmoil.
Since some of the crowd which jammed the ocean front for Greek Fest looted dozens of stores early Sunday, media coverage has centered on how the visitors behaved and the way police and city officials responded. There were big financial losses for some merchants and damage to some motels, resulting in lots of opinions from the business community on what should or should not have been done. But just blocks away from the resort strip are residential neighborhoods. Some of the people who live near the ocean front, such as Arthur Atkins, are coming forward to complain that no one's been talking about how residents were affected.
I felt uncomfortable to go to the grocery store. There's not much you could do around here without being subjected to a military atmosphere. It was very scary.
Penny Price, who lives near the ocean front, was afraid to go out over the weekend.
I didn't go out of the house. I needed to get some groceries, and I made do with what I had at home because I didn't want to encounter what I didn't even know might exist.
While most Virginia Beach residents seemed glad that police were out in force Sunday night, we talked to one man who was watching when the crowd turned violent before the police even started swinging nightsticks.
I think the police did an excellent job and used a lot of restraint, and the students were wild. I mean, they bombarded them with rocks and bricks, and I mean, they took over Pacific Avenue.
The residents we talk with hope city officials will give them a voice in whatever plans are made to deal with crowds next Labor Day weekend. From Virginia Beach, Nate Custer, News 3.
Well, Michelle, a lot of questions to be answered, and I don't think the answers will be easy to come by.
It's a story that's going to be continuing, I think.
For Checker Run on, please penetrate. Tonight,
3's Project A+.
Landing. The battle to stay forever young.
I would fix this, I would fix that.
A quest for eternal youth, even eternal life. 48 hours, a new night and time, Saturday.
Monday, it's back-to-back laughs. First, Buck takes in an ex-con.
Have I seen you somewhere?
But what will Grandma do?
You're gonna marry him?
Art Carney and Audrey Meadows together again on Uncle Buck. Then on Major Dad, is Polly's new duo a major catastrophe?
Sure looks like it would hold up to a breeze.
Get ready for a night of comedy with Uncle Buck and Major Dad Monday.
This is CBS.
One more nice day, then the weather changes. Forecast at 11.
Get ready. This Saturday, you're going to meet an elite team of specialists who'll tackle the dirtiest job in the world to save it. Don't miss the series premiere of Earth Force this Saturday on CBS.
I'm Jane Gardner. More Greetings from the Gulf on News 3 at 11.
You know, my grandpapa, he wouldn't throw away nothing, especially if he couldn't wear it out. That's why we still got every Ford automobile this family ever had. And they're worth more today than a lot of brand spanking new ones. That's just the way it is with Ford. So go on out to Thompson Ford in Hampton and get yourself a fine sporting Ford automobile. It'll be a classic one day, I guarantee.
Rent to own at Champion TV and Appliance Rentals and see what everybody's talking about. Rent to own remote control color televisions, VCRs, heavy duty washer dryer combinations, top of the line complete stereo systems, and furniture groups for every room in your home. Right now, $5 pays the first week's rent on any item. That's